Hi, everybody. Welcome to another USI Tech Talk. Today we have Tim from Linde, Tim Davis from Linde, going over some viscoelastics with Doug and Stephanie. Doug and Stephanie, you want to kick us off?
Yes. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today. Tim, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at Linde?
I am the senior most cathodic protection technician for the North region. I've been here for about 10 years and been in the business for about 14. Spent the first little bit there as a contractor for our Cleveland and EN Engineering, where I did CIS, troubleshooting, all sorts of various CP-related things.
And for those of you that don't know, CP is corrosion protection. All right.
Great. Tim, just out of curiosity, what are some of your company's main goals and mission at Linde?
We provide industrial gas for my end of things, we provide it for the steel mills and BP, as well as on the liquid side, we provide it for hospitals and welding. And I'm sure you've seen Linde trucks all over the highway. Our goal is, as any other company, make money and make a good product.
Excellent. And before you guys were using the viscoelastics, what were some of the challenges you faced when doing coating or painting projects?
As you know, we are I am in the Midwest part of Linde. So we are in, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. Our weather can be extremely volatile. So that can play a big part in your coatings. So your 3M, paints and things like that, that can really be a challenge when it's raining or snowy or the temperatures are in flux. I have much more success with viscoelastic products because I can temperature modulate them in my truck before application and then just go for it and it'll work just fine.
And how did you go about finding a solution? What led you or your company to viscoelastic solutions?
So ironically, my father was also a cathodic protection technician for Linde back in the day, and he was actually one of the first people in the North region for everyone to actually start using Viscotech first, and we've been using it ever since.
Great. Were there any particular features or services from viscoelastics that stood out to you?
One of the things I like the most is its ability to be self-healing. So as you're wrapping, if you give it to just any contractor, you can start wrapping. And even if they're not super experienced and they're not getting it 100% perfect, you can kind of just massage it into place and it'll still be a perfectly functional coating. And that's one of my favorite parts is that it is shelf stable and you can give it to almost anyone.
Oh, that's great, Tim. And what viscoelastic solutions have you used, or what kind of applications have you used Viscotech or viscoelastics for?
I've mainly used Viscotech. I know there's also Stopak out there that exists. I'm not sure of the big differences between the two of them. Maybe at some point I'll need to explore that just so I'm more well-versed in both. However, what I use them a lot of the time for is pipe repair or small pipe coating. So if, I'm taking a section of pipe out and we need to take the coating off because we need to inspect it, I'll usually just, Viscotack it and backfill because I can do that much quicker and have it reburied in the same day rather than having to wait for paint or epoxies to cure and then backfill the next day. I also use it on my air to soil transitions because it can be removed much easier than like a glass coat to where I can inspect it every 3 years and actually get a good visual of the steel below it when I'm digging down my 18 inches. I know we've also used it to cover pipeline repairs with epoxy wraps, things like that. That's a very good application for it as well.
Excellent. And I remember your dad using viscoelastic along Lake Michigan years ago. But what's a project where you've used a viscoelastic where it made a difference or made it easier for you as a corrosion tech?
Doug, you might remember when I was doing that one in Marathon where we were 14 feet down in a pit that was just sloppy mud. We were actually using Doug's Resi Metal product to try to kind of do a janky repair. It was an idled line, but we did need to get it repaired so it didn't fill with water. So we used resi metal to basically glue a steel plate to the pipeline, and then we wrapped it with carbon fiber and the paste, and then we used Viscotac in that application because it rained on us for 3 days. And it was soaked and it was muddy, and I'm not sure I could have ever gotten paint down there to cure, and I think the VOCs might have killed me because we were deep.
Sure, I do remember that very well, and I'm glad I didn't have to come down in the ditch with you.
And let me ask you, what improvements or benefits did you start seeing once the viscoelastic products were in use?
So I've removed some of the old tape coat that we have used in the past, and I forget what the other one is. We had used other tapes in the past, and a lot of those didn't hold up to the test of time. Where anytime I've gone back to where I've used a viscoelastic, it's looked like perfect. Like I've never exposed it to the atmosphere whatsoever.
Great feedback.
Go ahead.
So in your opinion, what is the biggest value unconventional solutions and Viscotac Denso brings to companies like yours?
Unconventional Solutions, I've always said, is my weird stuff company. I always go to Doug when I need an interesting coating or repair solution that I don't have one already for. And then Viscotac specifically, I use it for almost everything. Have you ever seen that Frank's Red Hot Sauce commercial? I put that on everything. That's basically me and Viscotac.
Well, we appreciate your support.
Great. Have you ever used it as a tank chime sealant yet?
I have not, just because we don't do a lot of tank applications myself.
Sure.
I have used it to seal casing ends at times. That's been very useful. I've used it to seal valve gaps, or not valve gaps, flange gaps at those different transitions for air to soil and isolated to unisolated piping. That's been a good way of helping that isolation maintain itself.
Okay. And have these solutions impacted Linde and yours long-term goals for future projects?
It has made the cost budget of every project for smaller stuff much easier, because they know that this is probably what we're going to end up using. This is how much we're going to need. Either I'll show up, or even the labor of putting it onto the line doesn't have to necessarily be as expensive as painting might be, where you need to either bristle blast or sand blast, and then you have to paint and cure and then bury. We can kind of just get laborers to come and help assist with that project, and then we can bury it right then and there, and we know how much that'll cost for a day's worth of work versus 2, 3, maybe 4 days.
Sure. Plus, it probably saves you some abrasive blasting cost.
Yes, and it's shelf stable, so I can keep it on my shelf. So I just made an order with Stephanie, and we are going to keep that for the plant for future projects for them. I had them order extra so that when they have more projects that they want me to take care of for them, it's already ready to go and they're not waiting for me.
Great. And are there other areas where unconventional solutions can help you and Linde Company?
You already have with your resi metal products. Those have been fantastic for various things. I've even made some inventions with them around here in a pinch.
Okay. And what advice would you give to other companies considering using unconventional solutions or viscoelastics?
Give Doug a call or give Stephanie a call. She's been a wonderful addition, and Viscotac products have been great for me, especially all of the different applications and products they have.
Okay, fantastic. And feel free to let us know how we can help in the future. We appreciate your business. And
absolutely.
At this time, Chris, why don't we open it up to questions from the audience?
Mics are opening right now. You should see that button pop up on your screen in just a second.
And if you don't feel like putting yourself on speaker, feel free to type them into the chat.
Yeah, I got a question. Tim,
yes.
What are some of the common challenges you've seen during the application of Viscotac? like especially in like a high stress environment?
Cold
Like-
weather or high heat. So if it's like 100 degrees out, it can be extremely challenging to be applying the tape because it gets extremely gummy. So one of the ways that I've prevented that is by just keeping it in my truck with the air conditioning blasting on it, and that'll keep it firm until it's applied, and then it can heat up all at once because I'm not touching it anymore. The other one is when it's very cold, it becomes kind of stiff and it doesn't stick super well. So then you do the opposite. You blast heat on it in the floorboard of your truck, then you pop it out when you need it, you wrap, and you're good to go.
So,
Excellent question there, Nick.
Any other questions?
I've got a question. What are our parameters on above ground installations for Viscoelastics?
Parameters for above ground installation. I do believe there's a UV protective vinyl wrap, outer wrap, Doug, if I'm correct, where underground
that
there's
is
a slightly
correct.
different one.
And actually, the Viscoelastics by itself is UV stable, both the blue Visco wrap, and then one of the projects you guys first did, you used Easy Wrap and came over top of it with an old version of what is now Resinox 555 to give it a color. So there is a paintable version mark of Viscoelastics called Easy Wrap, where you can paint it any color you want to when you're done. If you need to like paint it, battleship gray or marathon red or blue or whatever the case might be. That help you out, Mark?
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Great. Excellent question, by the way. Thanks for asking.
Any other questions?
Hey, Doug, what do you use to get it off your hands?
Sometimes rubbing alcohol, denatured alcohol helps. I try not to get it on my clothes. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, I have it in my personal truck, my work truck bed, several pairs of jeans. The best thing to get it off your hands is those handy wipes that smell like orange. Those are really good because of the grit. And then the other thing is mineral oil. If you put some mineral oil on your hands, it like deactivates the stickiness, and then you can just kind of gum it off of you. Those are the two things I found that work the best.
That's a good tip.
Tim, we do have a barricade hand cream that can help protect your hands.
Hey,
Let me know if you need any.
I
I'd
got
be
man
happy to
hands
help
at
you
this
out.
point. I have more than enough calluses.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? Not seeing any hands come up. Thank you everybody for joining another USI Tech Talk, and thank you, Tim, for letting us grill you a little bit on Viscoelastics, and
Absolutely.
Stephanie and Doug. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Great seeing everybody. Have a wonderful day.
Joining